Hi parents, welcome back. It was so nice to see some of you on our first Zoom lesson, and I hope to see more of you tomorrow. So this is a little bit of what we are going to be making tomorrow. Now normally if we were in our classroom, this is what we would be making. It's counting and cutting circles and placing them in number order from numbers 1 to 10. So being that we're at home and we don't have a lot of materials at home, we are going to only do numbers 1 through 5, and we're going to change it up a little. So first what you're going to need is you're going to need paper. You're going to need paper for them to cut and color their circles on, and then you're going to need a piece of paper to glue your numbers once you have them all cut and colored to make the caterpillar. You're also going to need a pair of scissors, crayons, markers for tracing the circles out on them. And what I also use to make my circles in the classroom, I use the smaller side of the circle. But right now, because they're doing most of the cutting, I use the larger size of a paper cup to make my circles. So to start out with your piece of paper, what you're going to do is you're going to fold it in half, because we're going to make it into 6 boxes for them. So take that piece of paper, fold it in half, and then you're going to fold in one side and then the other. Now it's going to look like a square, and you're going to have then 6 boxes, 1 box for each circle. And then they can do it, you can do it. If they can do this next step, that's great. Help them with it. You're going to hold down the cup onto the paper, and you're going to use a marker, maybe a nice spring color, because it'll be nice and colorful, but it doesn't have to be. I'm using purple, and you're going to hold the top of the cup for them. Let's see. Let's point this down. Here we go. That's better. So you're going to hold the top of the cup, and you're going to trace all around to make the circle. So it's 1, okay, 2, 3, 4, 5 circles. See, if I'm holding the top, you can do this for them and let them work around and trace that circle. And 6. And this is what we're going to be doing tomorrow. So I'm just giving you guys a pre-lesson of the prep work. So you can do as much of the prep work as you want. So now I have my 6 circles. Now, to help them even more, I'm going to take a black magic marker, and I'm going to trace over, I'm going to move this for a second, I'm going to trace over the lines to make the boxes pop. So 1 down the middle, and then from top to bottom, your 2 lines. So now you're going to have this. Because in my class, your children know to follow the lines. I always say cut on the lines. So you can leave it like this for them, or you can take one more step and make it easier for them. But before we do that, let us number the boxes. Now, you can either have them write their own numbers, or you do it. So you're going to skip the first box, leave that one alone. So we're going to have box number 1, number 2, number 3, number for number 5. We're not going to go to 10. We're only going to go to 5. So this is what your sheet should look like, okay? Now, you can either leave it like this for them to cut out the circles, or you can do a little prep for them. So I'm going to cut here for them. So then they'll have each of these numbers like this. So you can hand them this, and then all they have to do is cut out their color first and then cut out their circle. Or you can hand them this and say, okay, oh, let me make my lines, hold on. Let me make my lines on this sheet. You can say, okay, what you're gonna do is cut out your 5 circles. They can do either way, whatever is easiest for you and for them. Okay, so now we have our 5 circles, either that way or this way, whichever way you want them to cut. And we're going to go through the lessons of, again, holding the scissor. So in our scissor, if you can see, the smaller hole, the larger hole. We use 1, 2, 3 fingers for cutting, okay? So in my smaller hole, I'm going to hold my scissor very carefully. My fingers wrapped around the point inside. My thumb is going to go inside the smaller hole. And my pointer and index finger are going to go in the larger hole. Now, we have our 3 fingers. Let them practice this, opening and shutting. And I always say, open, shut them, snip, 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 snip. Something simple like that. Just practice this open and close motion with them. Now, when they're like this, to cut, thumbs up, thumbs up. See, my thumb is on top, thumb up. Because a lot of them sometimes cut like this or upside down. You'll watch and you'll see if they're twisting their wrist. So make sure their thumb is on top, because now they can use their left hand for their helping hands, holding the paper, okay? And sometimes if you make the squares for them, some of them will have an easier time holding this to cut out the circle instead of holding this piece of paper, because this is quite large for them. So cutting the paper circle, here we go. Here's my paper, and we're cutting and we're moving. And so what we're going to do is we're going to help them cut out circles. Basically, they're working on opening and closing that scissor and moving and turning the paper to cut out the circle. So there is circle number 3. And I'm gonna do it quickly now because it's just you and me. But tomorrow I will go more into the full lesson of cutting each circle out. Okay, so I've got number 1 cut out, number 3, cutting out now circle number 2. Okay. And it's really fun in our class when we're doing this, because let me tell you, it's Miss Caitlin and myself with 19 3- and 4-year-olds cutting out circles. And guess what? We love every moment of it. Your kids are superstars when we do this, and they love it. They really, I can't even tell you how impressed I am with your children for being so tiny, but acting like older students and doing a full cutting lesson with everyone at the same time, they have come a long way. Because when we first started school, and oh my goodness, they came to me and they were so tiny, I was doing 3 at a time. Then I was doing 4 and 6. And when I got to 6, I said, you know what? We're ready to do this as a class, everyone all together. You know, sometimes it goes a little smoother than others, but we love it. Miss Caitlin and I love every bit of it. Okay. Oh, I forgot to cut out his head. That's what your empty circle is for. It's going to be for his head. Okay. So now we've got our 5 circles. Actually, 6 circles, one for his head. So now, what you're going to do now is they've got to figure out what is the order of our number, counting from 1 to 5. Which number comes first? So, but first, before they do that, we're going to glue on his head, okay? I'm going to put the camera down a little again, just so you can see my paper. Okay, because I don't have a board to attach this all to. Okay, I've lost my glue stick. And this is always the fun part about teaching lessons at home. You never know when a Julian is going to touch my glue sticks because, oh, here they go. I got it. Never mind. Okay, so now, here we go. So remember, we don't glue the circle. We glue and we hold with our hands. We glue the circle. I'm going to stick on his head. Okay, now that's his head. Now, here we go. Put the numbers out for them. We don't need scissors anymore. And mix them all up. Now we've got our numbers. See, I'm mixing up. They're all mixed up. And we're going to say, okay, guys. Let's see, can you see them all? Whoops. You're going to say, all right, can you find me the number 1? And they'll say, okay, try again. That's a 3. That's a 5. Yes, that's the number 1. Okay, so now we're going to say glue on number 1. So here is his head. I'm going to go down a little just so we have some room. And we're going to glue and glue on number 1. Okay, and we're going to tell them to keep counting. Here comes number 2. Yes, you found 2. Great. And it's always good to overlap them because my paper is a little smaller and we might not be able to fit. But there's always a way to be creative. Okay, now let's keep counting. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's glue on our number 3. What comes next? That's right, 4. Glue on 4. And number 5 is going to go up here because I ran out of room because my circles are a little big, but that's okay. So now they have their numbers, their circles cut out, and now they have their numbers in order, and every part of the caterpillar is now glued onto the piece of paper. Okay, so now it's time to decorate him. So first, I'm going to start with his head, and we're going to say to the kids, okay, he needs to see, so let's give him some eyes. And they're going to work on making ovals or circles to give our friends his eyes, and they color them in. Let's try to have them color them in. A lot of times when they're doing this, they just make the outside line, but that's okay. But we want to try to get them to color in their eyes now. Oh, and next one's going to say, okay, He needs to smell. What does he need? He needs his nose. So we're going to add his nose. Okay, maybe I'll do orange for this. I don't know. Another tiny circle, and we'll say, okay, his nose is smaller than his eyes, so let's make a little smaller circle. And then last, we're going to say, oh my goodness, he is a happy friend, so we're going to give him a smile. And we're going to say scoop from side to side and give him a smile. Okay, now we're going to say, oh, but guess what? He has little antennas. So we're going to say, let's draw a straight line and another straight line. And this can go from, they can even use a marker for this to make it stand out more. So you're going to say, oh, look, it's going to go from the paper on, from the white paper onto the blue paper, and then make little antennas. Okay, so there's his antennas, straight lines with little circles on top. And, oh, but you know what? He needs to move around on the grass. So let's give him 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 little legs. I don't really know how many legs they have, but they can make 4 legs, they can make 6 legs, they can make 10 legs. I just did 6 because I make 2 for each set of legs. I make just lines down with little circles at the bottom. So now we have our counted caterpillar, but guess what? Now we got to have fun coloring. So this is fun where they're going to decorate and they're going to color. And a lot of times when they're coloring, because they're so young, they tend to color items in one color. But now we're trying to get them to use different colors. So for each number, have them pick a different color of crayon. And again, work with them with their grip of their crayon and how their pressure is. Sometimes they're too light, so we want to work on making sure that we can see the color that they're using. I used that color already, so let's see. So, you know, have fun, make it colorful, use a whole bunch of different colors. All right. Nothing too dark because then you won't be able to see the numbers. And I'm going to use green again because that's my favorite color. And this is our completed caterpillar. How cute is he? Oh my gosh. And for those of you who made our cross the other day, he will look adorable in your windows. Okay, so this is our counting caterpillar, and that's what we're going to do tomorrow. So on Zoom. I don't know how it's going to go on Zoom because this is all brand new to me. But if you do tune in, hopefully it will go well. All right, guys, have a great evening, and I will see you tomorrow, and we will do this counting caterpillar live, and we'll have lots of fun making it. Okay, talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.